Okay, so in this session, this I think we're in the third week or the third session of 2 weeks, yeah, right? Looking at first meetings. The structure of a first meeting is critical, and what we're doing is we're navigating through a process here where we've gone into our segue, we've segued out of rapport, and we've done our research. We've gone into an introduction, and now we're segueing out into past, present, future. That segue out of the conversation is something like this. I assume you're very organized from a sales development perspective, or I assume you're organized from a safety perspective and you've got a very strong team behind you. All of these things lead to an answer that you can then ask questions about, that lead into understanding people's rationale about what they've done in the past, how they got there, when they got there, what the process were, what their thought processes were, what they're doing now, and what the plans are going forward. This is a critical piece. So we can't understand and get the client to communicate with us effectively without going through the dance prior to that. It's unusual that you can step into a meeting and immediately start asking them questions about what they do as a business. I mean, why would they tell you the answers? You've got to build up to that. And you've got to navigate through a process of building up to that point. So we do that by research, rapport, segue, introduction, segue out of the introduction, and then we start to talk about them. This is the most important part of the first meeting. This is what it's all about. If they're talking to you, telling you how they've done things, and we've got that structure done the right way, they start to do two things. They start to understand their own business differently and from the context of where you're coming from, and you start to understand them and how they work and how they operate, which then allows you to talk far more effectively about what you do later on in the meeting. So the core of this model is what we call past, present, future. So it's looking at the past, looking at what they've done, how they've done it, and when they've done it. And you've got to drill down on this. You've got to be looking deeply at how they got where they are, today. Yeah? Okay, we want to understand. We can't step into this and say, tell me what your plans are for the future. It doesn't work. We've got to do that at the end of this year, right? So why have they done it? Let's just take an engineering firm that's providing safety equipment that's looking at gas and gas exchanges and stuff like that. So, what process have you got? What equipment have you used in the past? Why did you buy the equipment that way? What was the rationale? Who made the decision? Yeah, right. How's it worked out? What have you been doing with it? What things have worked well for you? See, there's a lot of questions that once I get that, I can then lead into what are you doing now? How are you doing it? How's it working out? And then in an ideal world, what are your plans for the future? All fits together seamlessly. Yeah? So that's past, present, future. It's critical to your sales process. Understand that this piece is about soft questions that are not as deep as doing a fact find, but they are a lot deeper than building up rapport.